Yes, today we are connecting with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. And we have with us Mrs. Misty Blackman with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. And Misty is a regional director for the best region in the state, no prejudice here. And we also have Ada Catherine Van Wahi, who's with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, the Government Affairs Office. So let's start and talk about the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, who a lot of people probably don't even know that it exists.
So our department partners with school systems, private child cares, Head Starts, military bases. We have such a diverse delivery system to provide the highest quality of pre-K to Alabama's 4-year-olds, which is Alabama's youngest students.
That's right.
Beginning their formal education process. And we are just glad to partner with Mobile County Public Schools to provide 71 first-class pre-Ks.
That is amazing. So many.
Yes.
Yes. So we're serving right at just a little shy of 1,300 children.
4-year-olds.
4-year-olds.
And that's just the school system.
Just the school system. in Mobile
Because
County Public
in all
Schools.
fairness, because we appreciate each other, we work together. There's still another group in Mobile County, Misty, when we talk about the serving.
Oh, absolutely. We also serve for private child cares, Head Starts. We have a vast delivery system, even in the city of Mobile, including but not limited to the department, school system.
Right. And that's important because that means that we're serving more children because everyone has their own capacity and the goal is to increase the number of students who are served.
That is right. And to serve every family that wants this opportunity because it's a voluntary pre-K, but we want to serve every family that would like this high quality pre-K. It's our goal to serve each child that we possibly can serve in the capacity that is best for the family.
And that's just Mobile County. So when we talk about the state of Alabama, how far-reaching is pre-K in the state of Alabama?
Pre-K, and Ada, I might need your help on this. Pre-K is reaching 32% of Alabama's 4-year-olds. So we are, of course, we're still setting big goals to reach more children because more families want this. And it's evident every year through our registration process that we are having families that are still not being served because our waiting lists are continuing to grow.
I bet you have a huge waiting list. Even though you guys have 71 classrooms, that's still not enough.
No.
Right, just in my region, so I'm going to give you a little broader view. I serve Southwest Alabama, which is 7 counties, and we have 178 programs in those counties.
Right.
Wow,
but we
that's a lot.
at probably over, I would say 2/3 of those have waiting lists still with children waiting just for a spot in a pre-K classroom. So that lets us know that families are still in need definitely for this service because we know it's the highest quality of pre-K.
And that's certainly what you want for your kids, the very best opportunity.
Right. And we also know it's not because even we don't want to serve, but it takes funding. And that's why we're so appreciative of Governor Ivey, because we also know that each year someone has to step out and say, hey, we need more funds for pre-K. And I'm pretty sure there are probably some legislators, House of Representative members, senators who are listening, but just how important it is and then what's going on in the different areas. So across the state, we're safe to say we're serving a large number, but we still have capacity.
We are.
And that's something I would really like to speak to. The Mobile delegation has always been 100% behind first-class pre-K. We've received continued bipartisan support through 4 administrations, including our senators and representatives right here. And the last 2 years, the department has received its largest ever funding increase for first-class pre-K. And just even 5 years ago, serving fewer than 20% of eligible 4-year-olds. We're looking ahead to serving 40% and expanding access.
Huge growth.
Exactly, in all 67 counties. And it's, again, our partnerships with our public school systems where we've seen some of the strongest growth. And this is it's really exciting to see this happen and to see the growth of our students beyond first class pre-K. I think a lot of times first class pre-K is seen as kindergarten preparation, but it is so much more than that. I know Misty can speak to the research and evaluation that show the outcomes for students and families.
Well, we continue to see that the fade-out rate for 3rd grade does not exist for those children who attended pre-K. And then we also are seeing that they're less likely to have chronic absenteeism, chronic tardiness.
Because you start with first of all, they want to come to school. Once they get that taste, I don't want to stay home. and then the parents understand them, because we
Exactly.
do work with parents. First class pre-K has a big parent engagement component.
Absolutely. And getting those parents in those schools and becoming partnerships with schools and just providing children with the experiences that are needed just to be successful for lifelong learners.
And I think that parents understand once they are in preschool the importance and what all is covered in preschool. So you certainly want to make sure that your kids are there, that they're not missing, that they're participating and learning.
So like Ada said, preparing them for kindergarten is a bonus, but we're preparing them for life. And that's huge for those children that are coming, that are getting the chance.
That is a wonderful opportunity to give them.
Exactly. And so when we look at first class pre-K and understanding that, okay, we want to get the children there, how do you think parents receive the information as far as them understanding the importance and the intentionality of their child being in school, instead of just because once upon a time, I'll just keep my child home. No,
He's
they
only
don't
4.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no big deal.
How do you encourage parent participation and encouraging enrollment
for them to want to send their child
and to understand that it's a big deal? It's a great opportunity.
I think parents are just seeing the long-term benefits, and they're also finding out that it's convenient for them. It makes it's a family affair. I can take all of my children to school. This makes it easy. It makes it not have distractible mornings, and it makes it. Then they see the outcome, and then when you see the outcome, then word of mouth is
so
absolutely the worst to
Right.
say. Let me just tell you what my child experienced in a pre-K classroom.
And I think also the mixed delivery helps that parent who's been kind of hesitant, because the child care facilities can apply. And we do have some. So that parent who may be a little reluctant to place their child in a school-wide program,
They can go right where they've been since they were an infant.
Yeah.
So right where they came at 6
They
weeks
have that
old, they can
opportunity.
continue to stay in that same little learning environment with the same teachers and the same adults that are in conversation with those children, and that does create a family sense of ease. So then it just rolls right into kindergarten, into the public school system, if that's their
if that's their choice.
If that's their choice. And
Right.
that is a foundation of the first class pre-K program, in that it is a voluntary pre-kindergarten program. We want as many families who want to have access to be able to enroll their child, and at whatever method and at whatever delivery system works best for that family.
Okay. So parents, when we come back, we're going to take a look at and talk about, so if you're watching and you're interested, how do you become a part of Alabama's first class pre-K? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Welcome back, parents. So we have some great guests with us today. We have Ms. Misty Blackman, Regional Director for the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education's First Class Pre-K, and we have the Government Affairs Manager with us, Ada Catherine. So thank you all for being here. So we've had an exciting conversation. So now for those who are watching, in order for a child to attend First Class Pre-K, let's talk about some of those requirements.
So, like we mentioned earlier, we have a diverse delivery system. So right now, people are enrolling in Mobile County Public School System, they're enrolling in the local Head Starts, they're enrolling in the local private child cares. And the way to do that is to reach out to any of them. It's an online platform. You can do it from your phone, you can do it from your iPad, you can do it from your home.
Uses
all
that
the
phone.
devices.
Yes,
Go to
ma'am.
children.alabama.gov, and you can click right through to pre-register your child.
And do it over your phone.
Absolutely, you can.
That's great.
There will be a drop down that, and it's going to show you all the offerings that are within your range of where you live, and you have the option to choose as many or as few as you would like. So if you want to choose 30, you can choose 30. If you want to choose just one, you can choose one. But that puts your name for the random selection process on all of the ones that you are interested in your child attending.
And the main thing is that we would like for all children, but for pre-K, the child has to be 4 on or before September 1st.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
then that's state law, and a lot we say to parents, that's state law.
That is
And-
exactly
For all the
right.
grades, they have to be that age by September 1st.
Right, for kindergarten and then first grade, so there's a method to it, and we know parents will say, yeah, but they
Exactly.
have a, so, but.
Or
but
September 2nd. No, they have to be
Yeah.
4 by September 1st.
First, right.
That's right.
So, and then with that, of course, original birth certificate. And that is so
What do they
important.
have to bring in?
Well, the local provider gets to make that decision. So you more than likely will have to have your child's birth certificate, proofs of residency, and that pretty much will do it.
Right. So that, because that's the
original.
registration process and the original birth certificate. So now what if someone is watching Misty and they are a child care provider? And they're sitting there like, okay, so I
do I
just
do?
heard them say, if I have a building and I'm a child care provider, and I may even have 4-year-olds in my program, if they're interested in becoming a part of first class pre-K,
What would they have to do?
Now is the time to write your application process. And absolutely, you can reach out to me. I come and provide support to you. I'll help you walk through the grant process. That's open and it is not prepared to close for a few months, so you have some time to work on it. But we are trying to get people to apply now.
And it's through a grant process.
It is. It's through a funding application.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's a competitive process, but again, we work hand in hand with our providers, with anyone who's interested in becoming a first-class pre-K classroom, because again, we want that to ensure that high level of quality, the nation's number one highest quality pre-K program.
So, and let's talk
and we
about
want
that.
to work in the community.
Number one for
13 years.
That's wonderful.
number one is something else besides Roll Tide. We'll be good with that.
Exactly. Pre-K and football, it's what Alabama does.
That's right, that's right.
You've mentioned this word several times, and I really want to underscore that, the intentionality of the program. The program, from how it is designed from the ground up, is what is developmentally appropriate for 4-year-old children to ensure that they are in a safe, structured environment with high quality teachers, with a credentialed auxiliary teacher, and with the framework and the intentionality of the classroom design. All of these are guided by national standards from the National Association of the Education of Young Children, NACE,
Right.
and NEAR, the National Institute for Early Education Research, is the national organizing body that provides an outside evaluation of Alabama's pre-K program and has recognized first class pre-K as meeting all 15 of 15 benchmarks for a high quality, effective program.
And when what
Can't
parent
ask for anything
right,
better.
to have someone come in, work alongside you, and it's a coaching method, and it's about what's best for the children.
Exactly.
One of those pieces that I really think is wonderful is the fact that every child gets to be seen by a dentist. Every child gets to be seen to get their hearing, vision. We look at blood pressure, body mass index, and that is because we're servicing the whole child. So, and it's not
just the
to say,
learning
right,
side.
it's not to say that you're not taking your child to the optometrist or the pediatrician, but sometimes someone may miss something. And that's that second piece, that double dip.
Take it as the backup.
Absolutely.
Right.
And like you said, the whole child, because we know that a child cannot learn if a child is not healthy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we want to provide every support we can to create a foundation that is unbreakable for children.
Exactly.
And what can our parents expect to see when they visit a first class pre-K classroom? What makes it so special?
That's where the magic is. They can expect to see 2 individuals totally engaged with their children, providing the very best conversation with them, which because we know that the teachers and their interactions are the number one most important thing. The third thing is the environment.
Right.
So our learning laboratories are bar none beautiful. Everything
sure
is
They're
provided
so
for
beautiful.
them,
Right.
from manipulatives to. There's nothing that's not there. Tricycles to balls to
The trike trail
Trike
outside, because that outside learning environment
gross
is
motor
just as
and
important.
it's
Right.
very
Very
critical,
important.
and it all goes with brain development, and that's our goal, to provide every experience that a child needs to be successful in kindergarten and long thereafter.
So that the classroom environment, the teachers in there, you're looking at kids, they're excited, they're learning their vocabulary,
Happy
their
to be there.
interactions, and then on top of that, we layer in the parents, because we're going to bring them in to meet with them and discuss with them. And everything also is based on current research.
Absolutely. And like we said a little bit earlier, we know that our children who attend first class pre-K, they are more likely to succeed in math and reading without fade out. And that's huge for the longevity of a child's growth
Exactly.
and development.
Exactly.
And so in those classrooms, not only do you see the vocabulary and language involvement and growth, but you see math and science, and,
right.
and
All the subjects.
everything is there.
Comprehensive across the board, but it's all integrated. So it's the children have the opportunity to learn at their pace and what they can do.
Absolutely. And then there's 2 adults in there to just scaffold and guide them through that process.
That's wonderful, wonderful. So parents, when we come back, we're going to look at, so what else is going on at the Department of Early Childhood Education? You're going to be surprised because as we know, it doesn't just start in pre-K. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
When parents are involved in school, you get more of this and less of this.
Hi parents, and welcome back to Parent Connect. We've been speaking to Misty Blackman, Regional Director, and Ada Catherine from the Department of Education Early Childhood Development. Tell me a little bit more about the programs that you guys are offering.
Absolutely. One of the really cool things about being in Alabama is that the state agency for Department of Early Childhood Education is separate from K-12 education.
Yes.
And that there is a very specific focus on children and their families from birth, so that children and their families are ready for their K-12 academic career. And again, that is not just focusing on their academic preparation, it's focusing on their child development, on their social emotional development, and other indicators of health and wellness to ensure that all Alabama children are ready to learn and are healthy and are thriving.
And I think that's because we now know the first 5 years.
There you go.
That it's so important.
The most important
The
one.
foundation for all of your lifelong learning and your skill development is established within those first 5 years of life. So from the time that baby is born, 95% of their brain will be fully developed through the age of 5.
That's amazing that it happens in such a short amount of time.
And there are millions of neural connections being formed every single second of that child's life in the first 5 years. And so the Department of Early Childhood Education, we are nationally recognized for first class pre-K, which is providing that step for school readiness. But we know that pre-K readiness begins even before that, with a parent being a child's best and first teacher.
Always.
We were talking about strong state leadership and support for early childhood education, and we have seen so much of that, and we are so appreciative for Governor Kay Ivey recognizing the critical importance of those first 5 years with her Strong Start, Strong Finish education initiative, which is truly a cradle to career pipeline focused on developing the entire child. And those first 5 years, that's where it happens. We are incredibly excited to announce the launch of a brand new statewide movement focused on empowering children and their families so that all families demand excellence in education, and it is called Born Ready. Because all children are born ready to learn, and we are born ready to teach them. So I encourage your viewers, your families, your parents, and your teachers to learn more at bornready.org, or they can text LEARN to 48258, which will give you science-based research and tips for children 0 to 5 to empower our parents to engage with their children in fun and enriching ways, and it's not anything extra.
So show us, Misty, I see you got your phone, so if you were going to text, give us that text again.
So you text LEARN, LEARN, to 48258. And it will guide you through a series of prompts with how old is your child and also the zip code, so it can get you connected with local resources and supports
in your area.
And you'll receive a weekly kind of tip of the week that you can do with your child.
Something to implement for that week.
Absolutely. And I really want to highlight with everyone who's watching today that this is a movement that is born out of the efforts and the input of our families. I think a lot of times we see things that come from the top down, but this truly is a grassroots movement that was driven by parent wants and needs. Last year, Alabama was awarded a federal preschool development grant, Birth Through 5, and a huge component of that was a year-long dive into the needs of our families and our providers. More than 460 individuals were interviewed as part of focus groups to really drive what do parents need and want. And what we found across the board, regardless of socioeconomic indicators or demographics, rural or urban, is that families feel stressed and ashamed. They feel overwhelmed. I mean, they're just trying to do the day-to-day, getting child to daycare and getting a meal on the table. and they're also feeling a little stressed of knowing who to ask or where to ask for help, or do you even want to? Do you want to put any spotlight on your family? Because you're doing the very best you can
And
every
it's
single
hard.
day.
Right.
It's very hard. And what we found through this is that every single parent wants to do what's best for their child. Sometimes they just don't even know where to start.
What to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we joke the one thing that you know when you leave the hospital is your baby's name, and that's about it. And so how do we support our parents by providing them with those science-based research and tips to build those neural connections through sight and touch and sound and interaction, because what we know, a bona fide fact, is that learning happens in the context of relationships.
That's right. Yeah.
So that adult and that child together, whether it's a mom or a dad or a child care provider or a grandparent, or maybe you know, just in the grocery store when you're checking out, how interacting with children. And so
peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
You have opportunities every single day
To make those connections.
Exactly. And you're already doing it. You're already going to the grocery store. You're already driving on the interstate and pointing out billboards.
But having those extra tips it's wonderful.
Exactly. That you're already engaging in these activities and breakfast and bath time, and how you can build on those positive, enriching learning moments, and also empowering parents with the tools to understand what's going on with their child's brain development.
The why.
Makes it
The
more
why,
powerful.
The why, because I think that also helps parents to put forth that extra, because knowing that,
Exactly.
okay,
Then
this
what is it?
why.
What's it going to do if I do this
Exactly.
extra stuff?
Absolutely. And we are so excited to see this launch across the state of Alabama. We've seen incredible engagement and feedback, and we want to hear that from you as well, how we can make your experiences better and how we can ensure that all children in Alabama are ready to thrive and learn, are ready for first class pre-K, and are ready
Which
to
is what all
launch.
parents
That's right.
want.
Yeah. Because we have the data to support those children who attend first class pre-K are more likely to graduate and
Versus
graduate
not.
on time.
So we have research that goes all the way through high school, this achievement gap closure in reading and math that we see in third
Which is
grade and
awesome.
in 8th grade. And we know that our parents are our strongest partners.
They are.
This does not happen
Exactly.
without our parents. And also encouraging our parents to be involved and ask questions and be empowered to ask questions about the quality of their child's education. We know that when they're going into a first-class pre-K, they're going into the nation's highest quality pre-kindergarten environment. And we want our parents to know that they can ask and demand the exact same of their K-12 education, and bring that information, that background with them into, you know, maybe a younger sibling's child care environment as well. And this is all about empowering parents to be their
and
child's
removing
best
barriers.
and first
Yes.
teacher.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Because parents are children's first teachers.
Teacher.
Yes.
That's right.
They are.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So parents, when we come back, we're going to continue this discussion as we talk a little bit more about Born Ready, and also we'll let you know some of the things coming up in the Mobile County Public School System to make sure that you know about Born Ready. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
The more parents are involved in school, the more likely it is a child will succeed. Children with involved parents and attend school regularly make better grades and have better social skills. Every involved parent makes a difference.
Get involved.
Ask about your child's day.
Explain how your education matters. Parent involvement, it matters.
You can find more information on parent involvement at mcpss.com.
Welcome back, parents. Today we are connecting with the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education, and one fun thing that we just did, Misty went ahead and she sent text to the number LEARN, LEARN, and I think she's even gotten a tip back already.
So Jesse's already texting me. So the tip, let me say this at the beginning, it is prompting me to ask if I speak English or if Spanish is my home language. And then I get to choose that, and then the prompts there and after are
It
in
does
my,
give you the option.
wonderful.
absolutely, it's in my home language. So the first tip says, we know your days can get hectic. Take a break and lie down next to your child and see things through your child's eyes. Then it gives me the prompt to type next, or I can be done with that one. So I type next, and it says, make different sounds like a whisper or a roar. Stop after each sound so your child can respond. Do they smile? Do they look at you? Keep going back and forth. Text next. Talking and making sounds will give your child practice listening, which is the foundation for language development. It can also help you both unwind from a busy, hectic day.
Like that.
It's
That's
a simple little tip, but if it's something that you do and you kind of, learn that or do that one, you can hit next and get another tip. I like that. So you can do
and
several.
Parents keep their devices,
all the time.
By. Yeah.
We all know how we use these devices.
Right.
And we want to ensure that this is accessible and easy for parents. You are already doing 1,000 things a day.
Right.
And in these moments, you're already bonding with your child and interacting with your child. So what's going on in their brains and how can you make those neural connections even stronger? We are very excited for this, and this is for Alabama parents and for Alabama children.
That's
so again, it's
wonderful.
bornready.org, and we encourage you to visit the website. You can find even more science-based tips on the website itself, and we like you to sign the Born Ready Pledge that shows that you are dedicated to being your child's best and first teacher and helping your children grow and learn and enrich their brains so that they are ready by the 95% of a child's brain from birth through age 5.
So it has many facets to Born Ready, but it all too connects to a reason. We want our kids, the
I
babies.
appreciate you highlighting that.
Right.
For intentional
Exactly,
messages
exactly.
to their children to encourage brain development.
Absolutely. I think you hit on something that I know Misty is working with in the region here for the Week of the Young Child.
Absolutely. So the parent engagement, we spoke a little earlier about parent engagement and parent involvement time. So we will be working with all the teachers in every private child care setting, public school settings, Head Start settings, to provide family engagement on Born Ready, because we know that each of you parents are born ready to teach your children. In fact, you're the first teachers and you're their best teachers. You're their lifelong teachers that are in their home with them. So this will give you an opportunity to learn about the website, to learn some extra easy tips, to take that pledge, and to go ahead and, if you choose to text, to go ahead and text and get those daily tips, intentional tips that are building brain development that
Very
you can just do on the fly with your children, which you're already doing. And those are going to just be reinforcers to let you know, hey, I'm already doing some of these things, and here's ways that I can expand.
You're doing it. Feel better.
You've got this.
That's a tip, and I'm already doing it. That's awesome.
And this doesn't cost me money. This costs me just a smidgen of my time, and that smidgen of my time goes such a long way with my child's brain development. Brain development.
Well, we get those constant news alerts, so now let's get a Born Ready alert.
Exactly.
We are.
Yeah.
And you can put the age of the child.
Yes.
Okay.
It prompts
so the
you.
tips will be for that age.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can do multiple age groups, because we know that many of our families are going to have multiple siblings. And that's where the website as well. We encourage you to go to bornready.org, and you can play around with, there's different age groups. You can also go into different brain building activities. Do you want to work on cognitive development? Do you want to work on social emotional? Especially
because
for our
sometimes
providers.
as parents we want to focus on the cognitive, but that social emotional, and the younger, the earlier, it is so important.
All learning happens in the context of relationships, and nothing is isolated. It's all integrated together. You are building so many different parts of those neural connections, and in their brain development, cognitive is usually going to go hand in hand with motor as well, or communication. So you've got all of these different components. And like you said, you've got this. You're already doing this. You're doing a great job.
And I will say that on the Born Ready website, I've done some exploring on that. So if you're saying, like, okay, what do I do with my child at bath time? It gives you the prompt to do it right then.
Oh, wow.
And so you can pretty much pick in the car, wherever you are, it gives you a scenario to do with your child.
Okay, wonderful.
Friendly and easy to use as well.
All right, so parent friendly. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you, parents. This has been a great show today, Carmen. I think
Thank you for having
us.
us.
Thank you all for being here. All right, parents, we're ready. Let's go. Thank you.